Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lindsay and this is the second episode of Worship Wednesdays. So if you haven't seen my intro video or the first video for this new series, Worship Wednesdays is where on every Wednesday I'm leading a short little Bible study. So that's cool. So subscribe if you want to see more. So today's Bible study is over 1 Thessalonians, which is really hard to say, 4:11 through 12. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump on into this right away with you guys. It's so hard to find, I think, but it's right after Colossians. Unless you're using your phone. So if you're using a regular Bible, 1 Thessalonians is right after Colossians. So, let's go ahead. So, 1 Thessalonians 4:11 through 12. And make it your ambition to lead a quiet life. You should mind your own business and work with your hands, just as we told you, so that your daily life may win the respect of outsiders, and so that you will not be dependent on anybody. So guys, I have all my notes on my phone because this was such a hard, it was so hard. This lesson was so hard to do. And I don't just randomly pick verses out of my head. I use this thing called Abrajoy, which I got, it's like a Christian website type of thing. And I got a free calendar in my email. That's the word I was looking for. In my email, and this was the verse for today. And I'm just it was such a challenging verse, and I thought about changing it, but I decided just to keep it. So that's what I did. I just kept it. So I'm going to put my little notes up underneath you guys. So if I look down, they're there. So that's what you guys know. Okay, so yeah, this verse was such a huge struggle for me. I mean, it's such a simple verse, but it can be interpreted in so many different ways. Initially, I just think that it looks like somebody else's temperament. Or you want to look at somebody's temperament when you read this verse. So, but that feels so stifling and such makes you feel like you need to be closed off. And that's even worse for people who are way more outgoing than I am, because I'm not that outgoing. I'm naturally a very introverted person. So if we look at it from that perspective, keep to yourself, check. I guess I'm good. I don't really need to work on myself all that much, so have fun, you outgoing people, and I will see you guys next week because that's all I got for you. So, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Bye! I'm just kidding. It's clearly not that easy. I think in a general sense, it's meaning something different than how we personally express ourselves. There's nothing wrong with being super outgoing or being super shy or super quiet. I mean, that's who you are. I think it's more talking about how we portray our thoughts and our actions, if that makes sense. I know, that's kind of a very deep, thought process. What do you mean, how we portray our actions? But how I break it down is in our current culture, in this look at me culture that we live in, it's very easy to get caught up in the thought that I have to make the most noise to be noticed by everybody else in the world. And that's fine, but I feel everything nowadays is you need to say it in words or in pictures, and you can't express, that's how you have to express things. Nothing is through your actions anymore. And we have to do this, otherwise we'll feel like we're getting left behind in this culture. I feel like this leads us to think that when somebody is making noise at us, that's the term I'm going to use, is making noise, that when somebody is doing that at us, that we have to stand up for ourselves by making noise back, and that's the only thing that matters. I don't think that making noise is going to make any difference. I mean, I don't think it's going to make people respect you all too much either. Instead, I think this verse is calling us to keep to ourselves and lead through our actions. Which reminds me of a story in the Old Testament that kind of like follows this example. So in the Old Testament, in Daniel chapter 3, there's a little story about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and how they use their actions to bring a whole bunch of people to follow God. And like, it's really cool, and if you don't know it, I definitely encourage you guys to go look it up and read it for yourselves, but I'm going to quickly summarize it right here for you guys in a very condensed Lindsay version. So in this story, a long time ago, there's this king that was trying to get people, well, really force people into worshiping an idol. And if you watch VeggieTales, it's the giant chocolate bunny. But, I mean, I'm a VeggieTales kid, so. And basically, if you didn't worship his idol, he would just, kill you, put you in a burning furnace. And so, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were like, this isn't right, this isn't following our teachings for our God. And, I mean, what could they do? They were kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. On one end, they could go around making a whole bunch of noise for all these people to get them to not bow down to this idol, but I mean, really, do you think that's gonna work if it's like, don't bow down to this idol and die, or just worship this idol and live? I mean, like, I don't think that would have worked. But instead of doing that, they decided just to keep to themselves and keep their head down. And yes, the king was like, oh no you didn't, and basically threw them into the furnace, hotter than anything in the world, and tried to kill them. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were like, God's got this. And he did. He totally protected them. Nothing got burnt in that furnace. Not even their clothes got burnt in the furnace. And I think that through their actions, God showed people what God can do, and not through them just making noise. And in the end, everybody was amazed. Everybody respected them. They were like the coolest kids on the block. And they even got a lot of followers to follow God. Now, I'm not saying that you can never profess the word of God to people. I think it is very situational. And like, if that's your calling, if you feel God calling you to tell this person about his word, then do it. I mean, like, don't let this verse stop you. I just think it's saying not to always speak your mind. And I think it is definitely a reminder that your actions can speak just as loud or even more than your words. So I challenge you guys to ask yourself, am I leading through example or just trying to win people over with my words? I encourage you guys to comment down below what you thought about this verse and such, and if you guys have any prayer requests, you guys can DM me in my Instagram. I'll put it right here, or comment down below. And thank you guys so much for watching and joining me in this study. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!